I don't know what I'm going to find behind that curtain, but I got to check. Why do I got to check? I got to tell the stories. I got to send back news. I got to send back intel. I got to let Cheryl know.
Yeah.
I got to find the tools. I got to see the problems in those dark places. I got to put some anchor points. I got to go out there. I got to run. Even if all I do is I run out there and I put a flag and then I run back. And then it's going to hurt and I'm going to need somebody to kind of at least give me space.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Two Promises podcast. Let's dive right into another exciting adventure with BD and crew as he pursues his new passion of one day finding the most epic bourbon. The Two Promises team send their special thanks to Hobie and the Huckleberries for their masterful theme music. So grab a glass, relax, and enjoy responsibly.
Baby says she's leaving if I don't stop drinking wine. So I switched to whiskey, now I'm feeling fine. Drinking that smooth, smooth whiskey. No more wine. I like straight bourbon. Baby, you try the ride.
Do you mind if I just ping in there?
No.
Because I'm wanting to go collaborative storytelling. That's a big desire for my brand. So I want to share a little bit too. Right off of that gun, off of Kyle Price's The Joy and the stuff. Okay. So me. Here I am. This is my 5th deployment. I'm in Afghanistan. I'm a strap hanger. Like last minute, they needed a dude with my skills, and I just happened to have evaded the order system for longer than my friends. So I didn't have orders anywhere right whenever some of my besties, either from training, like the core unit of that platoon was like my besties from all of my basic training, basic SEAL training, and like the SEAL qualification training. Like, so that's right. I never got to really deploy with them. I never got to really work with them in our careers because I went the medic path. And by the time I was up for orders, we were at basically neighboring teams, but not the same team. So that was part of my career that I wished would have been slightly different. But kind of looking back, that macro picture, that expectation management, I want to talk more about that later too, or anytime in the future. So I just was at the right place at the right time, 4 deployments deep, tons of experience, all the quals they needed, with nothing to do with my hands. But I was planning on getting out and getting some medical treatments that I needed. I didn't know how bad I needed a shoulder surgery, but I needed a shoulder surgery. I really needed to kind of reset some of my sleep stuff and some of the other things that had been plaguing me for almost a decade, because I got out about the 9-year mark. But long story short, bonus, my last active duty deployment, I get to go to the big show, one of the most dangerous, remote locations that the SEALs get to go to this time around, with my best friends.
Yeah.
And the chief that I served with in Iraq.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love that dude to death. One of the incredible guy. And the OIC, while I never served with him, I knew him from our training era age. And I saw him when I was an augment in Afghanistan. And he was doing his officer nerd stuff. And we at least got to talk sometimes in the jock, which was kind of fun. So then fast forward a couple more years, I've done another deployment since then. And now we're all working together. So the only people I didn't know in that crew was the LPO, which is the leading petty officer. So that's basically your supervisor level type leader, responsible for day-to-day, responsible for timelines, responsible for the technical execution of the chief and the OIC's vision and whatever. Best way I can describe it shortly, technical stuff people can nerd out about all the time on, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not nerding out on specific glossary terms. I'm telling stories. So, I'm with this group. I don't know the new guys, I don't know the LPO, and I don't know the military multi-purpose canine handlers. Right? But we had a great crew. It was an awesome crew. The socio-political environment of that deployment was a little weird, but our unit, freaking solid. And since I'm a strap hanger, it's kind of weird when you go from whatever it is your experience is to now you're jumping in with a group of war fighters, similar type of war fighters, right? They're same brand of war fighters,
right?
But our experiences are uniquely different. So in this world, we do a lot of butt sniffing like puppies do. And so even if we know each other and we're friends with each other, whenever the rubber meets the road and it's time to freaking put your kid on doesn't really matter how good of a friend you are. No. That's not the questions that they need the answers to in those moments. So I go from fast and furious, a bunch of deployments, did the last few final training missions with them, final training exercises, full mission profiles. The terms have changed through the years, and it depends on what exactly they're trying to encapsulate for communications purposes, realistically. But I did a couple of those, and then it was pack your bags and go to the show. So, and I had to get an extension on my contract, so I didn't even re-enlist. So, zero financial incentive for me. Yeah. It was just, I got some time to kill between now and when I can get my shoulder surgery.
Right.
And I like you guys, so why not go to the show together?
Yeah.
So, in terms of like career highlights and being able to do that, I'm extremely blessed. And then I want to just caveat that with him shooting the gun and that smile. And that energy. And that like, yeah, dude, no problem. I'll stop smiling.
Yeah.
Go. Right. Okay. So.
That was the one thing that I found out the most that year, though, or the year that the guys came, which they have continued to come every year now since then.
Now that they've got a taste of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that it really, the guilt, I mean, the survivor guilt is so intense for the ones that you serve with.
I have been going through survivor guilt so hard for pretty much my whole career. So I know exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
And this whole process, that's come up. That's come through. And you talked about earlier about when you want to peel those bandages off for healing and when you don't want to.
Right.
When you think you can do it and when you don't think you can do it.
Right.
Right.
But that was the one thing that I found out from having them come here was that they all really knew him.
Yeah.
He wasn't somebody different, out there being that way or whatever. He was just Kyle.
Just being.
And they all knew Kyle for Kyle. And I was like, I didn't know that.
I know. Just being that authentic self and just showing up in the world.
And hearing that from them, hearing the silly things like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, they knew Kyle.
Yeah. So, cool. So that ties me into the tool. Whenever you said, I don't know if I'm going to be too emotional, I don't know if I'm going to cry too much, we're trying to record, you might use it, you might not, I don't know, please have patience with me.
Yes.
That's what I try to explain to people in different ways a lot, so I understand.
Yes.
And I've also been trying to find tools so that I can help myself and so I can help others. So something that I've been kind of working on, we're in the theory process. Okay. And again, I'm building this whole thing from scratch with the resources I find in my environment, like if I were Survivor Man or Robinson Crusoe or whatever. I'm just this dude who just got washed up in the middle of a pandemic after 14 years of war on some beach somewhere, and now I'm just like, well, what's next? Because that was freaking weird.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then now I'm at shore from being a castaway or shipwrecked or thrown overboard or whatever analogy you want to use, and I'm understanding the environment of America again and what it looks like, and there's a pandemic going on in real time. So I'm like undercover freaking Survivor Man / this is what I feel like sometimes / missing in action POW / all these feelings.
Yeah, where's my slot again? I need my slot.
Yeah. These things that bubble up over the time from your experiences and your training, and like, why would I bring POW and MIA? I've never been that, but no, we train to that. So those are conditioning experiences that I've had that whenever I find myself in the quote-unquote real world, I have to balance those with my nervous system and all those things that we talked about and trying to figure out the right medium and the right healthy way to express myself in these social contexts that are so normal.
Yes.
And so casual, and so everybody else just slips right in. But for me, I have to figure out which puppies want to play, which puppies want to pull a sled.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So This is a really interesting time for me, and to kind of launch my next chapter, which I'm referring to as deployment number 8 for me.
I think it's a good reference.
Thank you. So, a couple other things. I said I was going to share, and I keep teasing you with that. So let's share and let's move on into some more stuff, because we got so many more things I want to get through.
Okay.
So you were worried about being too emotional at a certain time and like not being able to bounce back, or at distorting or ruining some vision of what you want to create or what you want to share with me in this time we have together.
Right.
Because you know me, I always got to chase that. I got to pay the bills. I got to go somewhere, wherever people are going to hand me a fistful of cash to do something. And of course, I pick out the ones that are the good ones. It's not like I'm a freaking mercenary out there just like, you know, Django fetting it up or something. But, you know, I got to pay the bills too. I got to eat. I got to have somewhat of a quality of life and standard of living in order for me to make it worth it for me.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm going to have to go make some money, but I think it's coming together greatly because of the Awesome Friends Network, but the tool. So I want to share the space with you. Thank you for being so gracious and allowing me to set up BD Mobile.
It's truly been my pleasure, Brent.
Awesome.
You really are my, like one of my own.
Of course, we are. We're family. So this is kind of proof of concept. The term we like to use. This is a proof of concept exercise. So sometimes we'll do training missions or go through training scenarios as a proof of concept to prove to the powers that be that we're capable of certain levels of responsibilities and authorities, right? So proof of concept. Thank you for sharing this proof of concept with me. I'd like to give back some things that I've been working on to help me get back into those more stable states in duress, in an austere environment. If I'm not at home and I can just go to my room and take a nap.
Yeah.
Okay. So anchor points. For me, anchor points have been huge. One anchor point, just to give an example, because it's here and it's ready and we're talking about it. I have a good buddy named Tiki Man. So this is going to be our little, what we're going to call a bumper. So I'm putting that out to my team because, again, I'm just getting into communications flow. So I'd like to do a bumper for Tiki Man, and I'll find all of the stuff for his website. But he gave me this whenever I told him what I was looking for, because I was kind of going through this self-growth, trying to find some anchor points. I thought I needed wood. Wood, to me, was a psychological anchor that could help give me faith, if you will, give me hope, encourage me, help me get out of some of those darker psychological spaces faster, right? So he gave me this. When I asked for wood, he said, I know exactly what you're looking for. Give me some time to find it. I need to look around in a special way. And he didn't give me wood. I wanted wood, but he didn't give me wood. He gave me this. I think he said it's a walrus tusk. But for him, it's a gratitude piece. So he would put it in his pocket, and he would rub his thumb on it, kind of like this, whenever he needed to anchor himself, whenever he needed to pull himself out of some of those dark places that he didn't want to be. And sometimes they're known, sometimes they're unknown. Right. It doesn't matter. They're dark, and you don't want to be there. So he gave me this. And what it is, it's not just a walrus bone. There's more history to it. I didn't even know about this. So this is what's fascinating to me in my ability to come hear your stories and learn and reacquaint myself with my neighbors, my community, my country. This is nautical scrimshaw. It is a sailor tradition from who knows when. And it's not just military sailor. It's not just whatever. It's watermen.
Right.
People that men of sea. People who go, and I mean, guess what? Marines were on those ships too.
Oh, yeah.
We share such a deep connection. It's insane. So he gave me this piece, didn't charge me a cent, and it is this custom etched, like wooden, three-masted sailing ship. And it looks like the sails are down. It looks like it's at anchor, and it looks like it's in kind of a nice harbor, close to a beach. So to me, it just paints this imagery of a shelter in a storm, but also your chariot's still right there. Yeah. And in this case, it's the ship. Mm-hmm. So to me, I mean, it's such a beautiful piece of work, and I want to give out a shout out to Tiki Man. I want to do some promos for him, get his website up there. So that's what I got here. So this is one of the anchors. That's a reference point, okay? Mm-hmm. Another thing I've been doing, go ahead, touch it, feel it. See the worn grooves, see the edges. Rub on the other side so we don't deal with the thing, but that's where he rubbed his thumb. And it used to be smooth, and now feel all those grooves. And that's bone. But it got him through, and now he passed that on to me. Because he knew I was a ship tossed in the storm in my life at that time.
Right.
And he knew what I was looking for, but I didn't know what I was looking for. I thought I needed wood. And he said, no, sailor. This is what you need, my young friend.
It's amazing the people that you can come across. You have this relationship with them here, But now, in this new, as you say, quote unquote, real world, you're all learning to reorient yourself with this real world. You don't have to worry about what's going to happen to you every minute of the day. And, it's okay for you to relax, and it's okay for...
And I just want to interrupt you there. I know it's true. Cognitively, this brain understands your words, but the physiological rest of my body, the hormonal drives, the snapshot electrical currents, once I see a signal, get exposed to a stimulus, I'm conditioned to go extremely far, extremely fast.
0 to 180.
Yeah. Or maybe I was just supposed to go to 60.
Right.
But I hit 180.
Right.
So what I want to share right now, because I think it's relevant to our relationship at this stage of my podcast, is you mentioned this dark place. You mentioned all the tools people use and what it means to you and other people through your life's experience. One thing that I feel like I'm doing as I go through this, because one, I just want to say safe space. You feel comfortable. I can't express myself in those comfortable feelings and know that I have a safe community because I'm wired to respond to threats. And to me, I just talked about a cute puppy that's a family dog. In a million ways, that could be a life-ending threat.
Right.
So, for me, it's difficult. I can't just drive to work. And I know that sounds weird and silly, but I could be triggered by something on my commute into work that could completely derail me mentally for who knows how long.
Right.
And I still have to function at work. Everybody's like that. I'm not trying to say, oh, woe's me, look at me, I'm so sad.
No.
Because everyone has to deal with this. But what I'm saying that I am trying to do in this process, in this mutual healing, because this is how we heal ourselves and others, and put that positivity and graciously express sorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? What I'm trying to do, and whether I'm doing a good job or even communicating that I'm doing it, but what a goal of mine is to do my best to kind of map out that dark psychological space. Occasionally, because I've been in those spaces enough to be comfortable there, I might not want to go there. I don't want to go there because I've lived there for so long.
Yeah.
But I also know that I'm me. I've been through a lot. I've lived through a lot. And there's been a lot of miracles that got me here today with you. So I've realized there's a lot of things that I can do. There's some things I can do, but I probably shouldn't do. And there's a lot of things that I can do and I should do as long as I do it in the right context and in the right level of moderation.
Yes.
So one thing that I'm doing that a lot of people don't agree with because they don't understand, that's okay, is I'm kind of like, whenever, the psychological dark spaces find me unawares, just like they do everybody else. But me, being a unique individual, likes to kind of look at that darkness every once in a while when I am feeling good. When I feel like I've limbered up.
Right.
Right? When I feel like I could do a little outrunning if I need to. If that makes sense.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Okay, I'll go back there for a minute because I can get,
I can jump right back out.
But I can get right back out of there.
Exactly. So I'm like, what's behind that curtain? And what intelligence can I find in a quick little jaunt? So I'll just like limber up, I'll crack my neck, I'll, get my shoes on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, here we go. I don't know what I'm going to find behind that curtain, but I got to check. Why do I got to check? I got to tell the stories. I got to send back news. I got to send back intel. I got to let Cheryl know.
Yeah.
I got to find the tools. I got to see the problems in those dark places. I got to put some anchor points. I got to go out there. I got to run. Even if all I do is I run out there and I put a flag and then I run back. And then it's going to hurt and I'm going to need somebody to kind of at least give me space.
Yeah.
At least give me the grace to just do weird things to get myself back settled.
Yeah, and someone that can say, I know exactly why that's going on. I know exactly why they feel that way.
Yes. And to be able to pinpoint, feel it, see it, or at least have enough frame so that you can move in and speak a word of healing or validate some of their personal strengths to give them that little pick-me-up.
Yes.
So that's some things that I'm working on now in real time as I build this podcast. How do I become an explorer for the darkest places of the human psyche? Start making a map. I mean, Google's making maps all the time with their, you know what I mean? They have all this technology and satellites, and we're mapping out things, and we've got all these technologies to improve our relationship with the world around us.
Yeah.
And to allow us to operate in this medium safer, more effectively, and sometimes to kill people more efficiently. Right?
Yeah.
Or to exercise control in different ways. Right? So, I don't know why I got off on that tangent. What were we talking about?
Me being able to speak on here without being...
True. And so I want to swing that back around. COVID, while it's a terrible thing, it's affecting everybody in terrible ways, from kids who need school to get out of bad environments, you know, all of our justice systems and all of our legal systems and all of our just, what's the word I'm trying to find? Our protection measures. Like the organizations that try to create a buffer for us to create some protections. And of course, all organizations are flawed. People are flawed. There's no perfection anywhere. So I don't want to wax political on any organization right now. But what I want to talk about is what you said.
Thank you for joining us today on this curious roller coaster of life. If this is your stop, please exit peacefully. Enjoy the rest of your day. If you're ready for another one, just push play. Just a final note before you go, thank you, and thank you for feeling. The distillation and aging process is different for everyone. I'm not quite sure what you're ready for. Sip slowly and enjoy responsibly.
Baby says she's leaving if I don't stop drinking wine. So I switched to whiskey and I'm feeling fine. Drinking that smooth whiskey. No more wine. I like straight bourbon. Baby, you try the ride.